All right, let's move now to a very different story. Political responses coming in to news that we actually shared with you earlier in the day, that at the BRICS summit that is taking place as we speak in South Africa, the Prime Minister had a chance to speak to Xi Jinping, the Chinese president. Remember, their meeting, though it was brief, is being seen as a breakthrough amid efforts from both countries to reduce tensions between them. Remember, the relationships between China and India nosedived after the 2020 Galwan face-off in eastern Ladakh. Since then, efforts have been taking place to rebuild the relationship between both countries. Now, Asaduddin Owaisi from the AIMIM has hit out at that news. He has said, our Prime Minister is going around asking for meetings with the Chinese president, whilst keeping his own country in the dark about the continued situation in the Ladakh border. What is Modi trying to hide? Why is the Modi government putting pressure on the army to accept anything as a solution to the border crisis? Why is it not insisting on a return to the status quo ante of May 2020? You might remember May 2020 was just a few weeks before that clash took place in Galwan Valley in eastern Ladakh that led to the nosediving of tensions between China and India. Let's go to my colleague Pallavi right now to understand more. Pallavi, can you bring our audience's context? When Asaduddin Owaisi is saying this, why is the Modi government putting pressure on the army to accept anything as a solution to the border crisis? What is he referring to? We know those talks between the Prime Minister and the Chinese Premier just took place. But these pressures that he is referring to, where is he getting this information from?
I won't know where he's getting his information from, but the government, basically the point which has been raised always by the India Front opposition parties and other opposition parties like Owaisi has been the fact that the government has never come clean on what really happened on the Galwan Valley. The government has always made it on record inside the parliament that not an inch of territory has been ceded to the Chinese. This is something which has been looked at with a lot of cynicism by Owaisi. We heard Rahul Gandhi also recently make the point that he was doing his extensive tour of Ladakh, that, you know, there are people on the ground who tell him that territories have been lost. They've lost their lands for grazing, so on and so forth. And this is all happening in the backdrop of that brief interaction which took place between the Prime Minister and his Chinese counterpart at the BRICS summit. And the point which, again, the opposition parties really are making is that, you know, you cannot have double standards. On the one hand, we are being heard, we are not being told the truth. But India is perhaps not even showing up and standing up to the Chinese when they are meeting.
All right, Pallavi, thank you for bringing